The unveiling of the official portrait of a former governor of California represents a certain rite of passage. A governor may be photographed 100,000 times during his or her terms in office, and photography, being a fine art as well as a workaday means of keeping the record, can reveal many things regarding a governor. Search the photographic record in the case of the Honorable Arnold Schwarzenegger, the 38th governor of the great state of California, and you discover, among other things, that he is not too fond of neckties, favors cigars, cowboy boots and windbreaker jackets, each bearing the great seal of the state of California. He smiles easily and is at his ease with people from every walk of life. Photographs reveal his physical fitness, his film star good looks, his sense of humor, his willingness to spoof himself with droll references to Conan the Barbarian or the Terminator or the Kindergarten Cop, or any of the roles in the industry in which he achieved fame and fortune, along with restaurants, real estate, technology investment, and the film industry, to which he returned upon leaving office. A painted portrait, however, is more formally and exclusively an art form in which the artist seeks to release a message regarding the inner person, the private person, the subjective person, as well as the person belonging to history. For all his fame as film star and governor, as businessman, and of late as University of Southern California professor and global spokesman on environmental issues, and despite the fact that he is instantly recognizable to millions of people across the planet, and despite the fact that he can spoof himself regarding the roles he's played, the Arnold Schwarzenegger story is far from complete. His record as governor is now at once part of history, but also part of present and future political and policy practice. When he was leaving office, he quite naturally took satisfaction in what he accomplished during his 7 years at the helm of this nation state. His commitment to strategic growth, his passion for and commitment to education, to scholarships and financial aid for students. This young immigrant, who while in the early stages of mastering English, jump-started himself into a college education which he obtained despite everything else he was doing. His commitment to health and the healthcare system reflected in his own career as a bodybuilder and advocate for physical fitness and healthful practices. His commitment to a strong economy and to keeping taxes in check, this from an aspiring entrepreneur arriving on our shores to seek for himself a better life. His support of the military, both the National Guard of our state and the nation, this coming from a veteran, albeit in a different army, himself a tank driver who, once he reached California, graduated to a Hummer. His commitment to the aged, to law and order, to diversity, to reforming the pension system, the budget process, indeed the political system itself in which he achieved such dramatic results in the final years of his tenure in office, among his most enduring legacies. His environmentalism, his effective campaign on behalf of clean energy, his commitment to agriculture and the statewide water system upon which both agriculture and urbanism depend. The absolute delight he took in sharing the California message with the rest of the planet. And of course, the strong support he extended to his favorite department, the California State Library. In the years to come, as the history of California continues to unfold, historians will deal with the public governor, the administrator, the politician who took major steps in reforming the political process, the active intellectual interested in the long-range policy implications of current action. Now, did I say politician? Did I say politician regarding a governor coming into office from such an atypical background as far as politics and politicians are usually concerned? Yes, I mean politician, and by politician I mean a man who understands politics, as both Aristotle and Otto von Bismarck, more than 2,000 years apart, understood politics as the art of the possible, as the art of envisioning a better life for himself. True, every immigrant feels this imperative, but for the larger community as well, for the state and for this nation. and a politician in terms of someone who is instinctively at home with others, can project himself into the lives of others, as Governor Schwarzenegger did on innumerable occasions, and so effectively in his response to uncontained fires and related disasters in Southern California. Now, Californians found it easy to call him Arnold, not just because of the polysyllabic nature of his last name. He had a gift for befriending the people of California, in person and through the media, on a one-to-one basis. And this was more than his popularity as a film star was concerned, although that helped. He had, as a boy and a young man, it must be remembered, redefined himself, chose something other than the alternative before him, flung himself headlong into the possibilities of this great nation and its great nation state, California. And he wanted to share with as many Californians as possible his absolute delight that it had come true for him. And he wanted it to come true for them, and he would do everything in his power to make sure that as far as the California experience was concerned, state government was part of the solution and never, if he could help it, part of the problem. He invented the term post-partisanship, using it, if I remember correctly, in his first State of the Union address. In that concept of post-partisanship, he fused his own history with the cumulative California experience. And oh, how he loved to say, California. With a K, you could hear that K, like no governor before him has said California with a K. As if the very name itself conjured up the best possibilities, the American dream, the California dream, for as many Californians, as many Americans as possible. To introduce this man, soon to be reflected and refracted in painterly portraiture, I turn this microphone over to a governor who was both Arnold's predecessor and successor in office. The past 34th governor of California, now the present 39th governor, and of course, the future governor of California, Governor Edmund G. Brown, Jr.
Well, this is highly unusual. Never have I seen so many people and so many cameras for a news conference. Arnold, you still have it. But I do want to say something about this kind of event. Politics is very much driven by news. News is what didn't happen before, or the unusual. Man bites dog. It's all about change. And there's a certain addiction to change. But change with nothing more becomes chaos. And the correlative factor has to be continuity. And part of the continuity is the passing of the torch from one governor to the next. And the unveiling of the portrait is certainly an occasion. It's not an occasion of change so much as an occasion of continuity. And California, which is the land of dreams and action and change, is also a place that has to respect its own emerging past and tradition. I want to say one final thing about portraits. When my father saw my portrait, he was angry, and he said, "You'll never be elected to another office again." Well, it did take me 28 years to get back, but I guarantee, well, I'm going to invite you to my portrait unveiling. Anyway, it is something special, and every time I walk down the hall, we have little pictures. Oh, I have to say one more thing about my portrait. There was such fear and loathing in the state Senate that is the custodian of this building that they didn't want to show it. They didn't want to expose it to the public. So that's why they put it as far away as they possibly could. But I think you're going to be joining me there. Actually, but you know what? The third floor is a lot better than the first floor in terms of the company. Anyway, Arnold, it's great to be here, and you did a hell of a lot. just like everyone else. You had your flaws, you have your critics, but I think today was very special, where we celebrated the bipartisan continuity of our common commitment to climate, protecting our climate, our environment, and our great California. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I would like now to invite everyone to offer a warm welcome to a man who needs no introduction, the 38th governor of our great state, the Honorable Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Governor Brown, for the wonderful things that you've said about me. I really appreciate that. And it is really wonderful to be here at this state capitol, at this most beautiful capital, I think, in the country. And I have to say that I have missed being here many times. And so looking at all the portraits in this building of governors, from Earl Warren to your father, to Governor Reagan, to Duke Majan, Wilson, Davis. I mean, it's really inspiring to look at those portraits. But there's one thing it doesn't explain, and that is, why do you, Governor, always follow a Republican actor into the governor's office? Maybe Kevin Starr can talk about that a little bit later on, because he's the historian. Anyway, it is great to be here today, and I think that it is also wonderful to see so many of my friends here. I want to thank everyone for being here, the people that have worked for us and for our administration, and all the dignitaries that are here today. We really appreciate it very much. I also appreciate that my two sons are here, Christopher and Patrick. Thank you very much. And I want to thank our great historian, Kevin Starr, for joining us here today. I mean, there's no one that knows the history of this state better than you do. And this is why I love to just always hear your perspective and your advice. And I know that the USC students are very lucky to have you as their professor. Let's give Kevin Starr a big hand. It is truly a great honor. I mean, when I was a young boy in Austria, I dreamt about California every day. And I knew that one day I would have to come here to this beautiful state if I want to make my dreams become a reality. But not in my wildest dreams did I ever think that one day I will be governor, or that one day there will be a portrait hanging here in the state capitol. I might have envisioned a sculpture on Muscle Beach. Or on Hollywood Walk of Fame, maybe my handprints and my footprints or something like that, but not in my wildest dreams did I envision this. When I moved to California, California was much more than I ever thought it would be. It was also the hotbed of global culture and of technology. And around the world, it was almost a myth, a place where nothing is impossible. But for me, that myth was a reality. For me, California was magic. Everything that I've accomplished in my life is because of California. If it is my acting career, my bodybuilding career, my success in businesses, no matter what it is, it's because of California. I could have gone to any other place in the world and I would have not had those kind of successes. So naturally, I always had the urge of giving something back to my community and to the state. So this is why I served in the Special Olympics as an international trainer for weightlifting. That's why I was the chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness and traveled through all 50 states to promote health and fitness amongst our youngsters. That's why I started after-school programs for disadvantaged children in this state and all over the country. And this is why I also ran for governor. My 7 years as governor were the most fulfilling years that I've ever had in my life. I did not accomplish everything that was on my to-do list, but I don't think any governor ever does. But I'm very proud of the things we did get done, from investing in our infrastructure to reforming our political system to protecting the environment. But I didn't do any of that on my own. The day's celebration isn't about one man. It is about all of the people who have served California during my time. It will be my portrait that will be hanging here on the wall, but there are hundreds, if not thousands, who deserve to be remembered for their great work on behalf of the state while I was in office. I want to, for instance, remember my family for their constant love and support. Without them, I could not have done it. I want to remember every member of my administration who worked tirelessly towards our vision, spending their vacations in my office, negotiating the budget, and writing up the new big proposal. I want to remember every state employee who sacrificed through furloughs and other hardship during the recession so that the state could continue providing services to people. I want to especially remember the first responders, the police officers and the firefighters who have answered the call of duty to keep us all safe. And I want to remember every legislator that served here in this building with me, because we showed that Republicans and Democrats can work together in order to move the agenda and to move the state forward. To all of you, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. We sent a powerful message. We were never afraid to dream big. It is in our DNA as Californians. We have the biggest collective imagination in the world. We refuse to think small. And that is why no matter where you go in the world, they know California. To the rest of the world, California is tomorrow. It is the future. Or as I've said in my first inaugural address outside in the front of the Capitol, it is the golden dream by the sea. Thank you very much. Thank you.